Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to our first, I think this is our first one as the Trap House.
Yeah, our first official one. Yeah, yeah.
What up, folk? What up, folk? Uh
I'm doing pretty good actually. We got to go check out a new game with the kiddos, so that was pretty fun. I'm gonna talk about it later. It's Warhammer 40K. If y'all don't know me, you know, I've been buried myself in this for like the last 2 weeks, so I'm excited about it.
mm.
How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. We had church this morning, and now we're back. So chilling. It's been a long weekend. I went to go see Mario yesterday. No spoilers, but I'm just gonna tell you, I think the movie's very big.
Ooh,
I think
him and I disagree. Him and I
I think the
disagree
movie is
like a
super
lot.
mid, but I won't give any spoilers as to why I believe the movie is super fucking mid.
Yeah, y'all let us know when y'all see it, or like when y'all want us to talk about it, then we'll talk about it. But
We'll talk about it then.
some of the things he's saying is just wild. I cannot.
And I mean, I know what the title says. I know it says fandom, but we actually decided to swap it up. The homie Jamal is not here for this episode. He's busy. Got to take care of the kids. But we're gonna change it up, and we're gonna actually just jump into a discussion about TCGs. And for those that don't know what TCG stands for, trading card games. All right. So most of our animes and most of our cartoons, believe it or not, actually have a card version to it. Now, whether the card version is popular or not is debatable. But most of your animes have a card game connected to them. Naruto has one. It was a flop. It was really bad. But some of your biggest ones, our big three, like we have in anime, we do have a big three of TCG, is Magic at number one, Pokemon at number two, and Yu-Gi-Oh at number three. And at any given times, 2 and 3 are interchangeable. However, number one, I believe for the most part of the fucking decade, has consistently been Magic. Like,
Yeah.
no game has beaten Magic the Gathering. Through its formats, its card play. Magic the Gathering has been around for 30 fucking years. It has a huge following. To this day, the only thing that Magic players complain about today is their standard format. That is it. Other than that, they have the biggest, friendliest format in Commander. I do wish that most TCGs had a Commander-like.
That would be pretty dope. I would do that for you. You know what? Yu-Gi-Oh could do that. Remember those old deck masters?
Mm-hmm.
Remember those from like when they all got zapped into the robot? They had to fight against the big four. They're all in like cyberspace. I think that'd be cool. You actually do something like that with Yu-Gi-Oh. You could do something like that.
You could. Pokemon is starting to do something like that with its Gym Leader Challenge. I don't like the Gym Leader Challenge. I think it's very wonky. And I think we should add more cards to it. They X out EXs, GXs, tag team Pokemon, all of like the big Pokemon they X out. I don't agree with that. I agree with the one of version for each one. So kind of like Magic, where we'll go back through a certain expansion block and say, okay, hey, you can have one of each card in your deck. I think that would make games wildly entertaining.
Yeah. One of formats are always really fun because it forces people to like think, right? Like you have to. It goes into like a lot of deck construction where like you have to understand what the identity of your deck is, or like what you want the identity of your deck to be, and how you want it to showcase in gameplay, right? And that's the really cool thing with Magic in our Commander format is that there's a lot of the ideas that you have been explored and can be done in crazy ways. Like shout out to Benson. I don't know if he's watching this. He should be. But I actually still run a deck that he gave me the idea for, and it's earned a nickname of Mr. Bad Touch. If you know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't like that.
We don't. Mac don't like that deck. I loved it. It was great. I thought it was a lot of fun.
It's not fun at all.
But see, that's the cool.
It's fun to him, but it's not fun to anybody else.
No, I'm not here for other people's fun. That's not why I sat at the table. I sat to have fun.
Imagine that. I didn't really come here for y'all to have fun. I came so I could have fun.
I'm here to make me feel the happy juices in my brain. And that happens when you don't feel the happy juices. So guess who doesn't get to feel the happy juices?
Yeah. So what was your first TCG?
My first TCG that I really got into, I was a Yu-Gi-Oh kid, but I was very much the like schoolyard Yu-Gi-Oh kid where I was just playing cards, you know what I mean? So the first card game or the first TCG that I really like got into and learned how to play was Magic. And unfortunately, 14 years later and an untold $1,000 later, I still am playing the game.
I think I could venture to say, and this is bad, so I hope my wife isn't watching. But if I counted the money that I spent on TCGs, man, shit, over the years, because I started so much like your story. I started with Yu-Gi-Oh in intermediate school. I was in like the 5th grade, but it wasn't structured Yu-Gi-Oh. It was what we seen on TV. We had our deck. We fucking play it like that. If I win, I take your card. You win, you take my card.
Yep. You got kids crying on the playground.
Killing people's kids, knocking them out of their hands, and shit like that.
Send them up to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah. And so, but my actual first TCG that I sat down, learned how to play actively was Pokemon. Was my first one that I learned how to play, but I didn't play it like my first one that I learned how to play and played consistently was Magic Commander version. So the Commander's format is what I sat down. It was my neighbor. I was in Okinawa. My next door neighbor every Thursday invited people over to play Magic and Commander. And so I seen he had people coming in and out. And then I was like, hey, what are you guys doing over there? He was like, we're playing cards. It's like, if you ever want to learn, just come on over. I went over. He gave me one of his decks. It was red, white. Oh, no, red. It was Rakdos, red, black, red, black. So I was like, okay. He's showing me how to do it. Boom. I went to my very first Commander tournament type of deal. I took first place in it. And so
as you should.
I was like, I love this game. Of course, my very first deck, my pride and joy, and I'm gonna rebuild it at its most priciest point.
Oh God, you're not talking who I think you are, right?
Who are you thinking?
Atraxa?
No.
Oh Lord, who else?
No. Kalia.
Oh Lord.
Kalia's a vast. At its most priciest point, Kalia is like $2,000.
That deck. Yo, you had that and you had like a pretty solid Atraxa Super Friends.
Oh, I'm still angry.
Oh my God. I don't know what I'm more mad about. The fact that I sold you one of the Jaces that ended up getting stolen, or the fact that the whole deck got stolen at all.
So for those that don't know the story, well, obviously none of you guys know the story because you don't know my TCG's history. So we were in North Carolina. Sweezy, so I'm going to put part of the blame on Sweezy because he introduced us to this fucking Red Door bastard.
Hey, pause. To be fair, this dude seemed pretty legit.
Hey.
Which, famous last words.
Came in, it was like Red Door fucking card shop, whatever, in Richland. I'm like, oh, okay, it's not that far. We played every fucking Monday.
Every Friday. We would get done and we would leave and just go right there.
Right there. We played standard format. This is when I played standard heavily. This is when we were playing Commander heavily.
Yeah, I was just getting into modern at this time, actually.
It was going good up until he started having issues and he was closing down or whatever. I accidentally left my deck there. And this was my Atraxa Super Friends. Deck cost me roughly about, at that time.
That time was probably like $1,500. It was
$1,500.
It was comparable to my Mael deck, and I dumped money into that deck.
Yeah, so it was about $1,500.
Yeah.
So he calls me. He's like, "Hey, you left your Traxxas deck." I'm like, "Oh, sweet. I'll come by and I'll grab it." I was like, "I'll come back after work." And he's like, "Well, I'm out of town, so I won't be back until X day." Okay, cool. Call him on X day. Hey, you in town? Oh, no, not in town yet. I'll be in tomorrow. Okay, whatever. Call him again. Doesn't answer.
Mm-hmm.
Call him again. Doesn't answer. Send him text messages. Hey, just trying to pick it up. Is there anybody that can meet me there? And I go in, I grab it. And he sends me the infamous, "Oh, we've closed down and no one's there, but I got it at my house and blah, blah, blah." So I'm like, okay, I'll come to your house. Fuck it. Like, it's $1,500. I'll come to your house and pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
And more about the fact that it was $1,500. It was my commander deck that I actually played. Like, that was my go-to deck.
That was like your baby. That was your
like,
golden.
When they say, "Hey, let's sit and let's play a game," I'm like, okay, this is the first deck that I'm going to play out of the many games that we're going to play.
Yeah, because it's your pet deck. It's your strongest deck, and it's like it's the deck that everyone will play exactly against once, and then you're like, all right,
then you go to your bullshit.
Yeah, like, okay, I've had my fun. Let's play
cards. So then I really want it back, and I go, and again, no answer, no nothing, no. And so after a while, it actually aggravated me so much that I stopped playing Commander.
Yeah. Yep.
I stopped. Like, I was like, nope, I'm done with Commander. I don't care for it. Like, I'm playing Standard only. And after a while, Standard, after Amonkhet and my black and white zombies, after that rotation, I put down Magic for the better part of, let's see, that was.
You didn't pick it back up until until Arena came out.
But I'm talking about like Commander. I didn't pick back up until I got back out here, which was in 2019. And then that's when I picked Commander back up. And so I played Commander out here 2019, but by this time 2019 hits. Oh no. By this time, I'm playing Pokemon heavily. And I mean, like, I'm going to Charlotte regionals, I'm going to Greensboro regionals, I'm playing Pokemon, and Pokemon has been my baby ever since. I got my binder is in the living room, but I got a whole backpack, everything. I just went to a Charlotte regionals. And so it just really hurt because most card shops, they try their best to be about the community. And so if you leave something or lose something, they try their best to get it back to you. They do not condone, most card shops that I've been to, they do not condone stealing whatsoever. And if you are caught stealing, or if you're, not only will they actually call the cops to press charges on you, but they'll actually automatically ban you from ever coming back to their store again.
Yep. That actually happened to a guy I knew in high school. He ended up trying to sneak a bunch, and it was pretty clever. They trapped him. So what they ended up doing was they had one of the guys, he was one of the older players. He was like, "Hey, you guys want to sit down and play some Commander?" And what he did was he played a deck that was, I think there were 23 board wipes in this deck. There were another 10 ways to just tutor them up. So half of his deck is just board wipes. And that's all he did until the cop showed up. His turn, play a land, board wipe, pass. And he did that for 30 minutes until the cops showed up, and the cops went through this kid's binder. And this is when Jace the Mind Sculptor was in Standard. So it was I think it was $210 at the time. And he had the 12 slot, the bigger binders. He had the 12 slot pages. I think he had 3 pages of them full of just Jaces that he had nicked from the store. So absolutely, that was, and see that bothered me because when that all happened, we were still in the military, we were still in the same spot together, and it's dude, don't, this is an anomaly.
Yeah. And it sucks because for people of that community, right, that play TCGs and stuff like that, card shops as an owner, right, and this is going to suck because it's going to sound real business-like, but from a business standpoint, the margins are very small to begin with. simply because you're dealing with a lot of small dollar product.
Right.
And when you come from a distributor, you might buy a booster box of Pokemon nowadays. You might buy it at 100, right? But you still have like margins that you have to meet, but then you still have a cap because Pokemon won't allow you to sell it over X price.
Right.
And then you still have TCG player, and the market pretty much settles and says, hey, this is how much it should be. And so, all right, cool. I buy one box for 100, but I can only sell it for 120. I make a $20 profit. That's what I make. A $20 profit from one box. I might have fucking 10 boxes. So what? $200.
Yeah, how much comes on a case, right?
You know what I'm saying? I got 10 boxes to sell. I got $200 fucking dollars that I just made. Like, assume, and nowadays they go by really fucking fast. But say back in 2017, they might sit for a while. So that means my $200 is sitting on the shelf for a good while. Which is why a lot of card owners, or store owners, one, they don't stay open very long. A lot of them close within about a good 3 to 4 years. They close just because the money's not there. Or a lot of them make a mistake. They overbuy product. And then when they think like, oh yeah, this product's going to sell, the market crashes.
Yeah, and just nothing.
And nothing.
See, you know what? I think that is why I like Magic spoiler season, because you get to kind of see what's in the sets and how much the hype is before before the boxes can hit the market. You can kind of guesstimate, and I think it's made it a lot easier on like shop owners in general being able to be like, hey, there's a lot of hype for this set. Like a lot of the collector's price for the new Magic set that's coming out, March Machines, or as everyone's been affectionately referring it to as Mom. The cards coming out of that are magnificent. Some of them look insane. They gave us another Blightsteel Colossus, not named Blightsteel Colossus. So you can run 2 Blightsteel Colossi. What? Yes, I will take 3 of those boxes. I'm only hoping to crack 1 of those. Never mind all the other great stuff that's in there.
That's going to come in.
I think that's really good when you're speaking of like market. I think that's where Magic does a lot of good for their product, because you can drum up a lot of hype. Whereas I feel like, I don't know if Pokemon or if I know Yu-Gi-Oh does it a little bit.
Pokemon sometimes is outrageous, right? So pre-release will happen, and say pre-release comes out. We know what cards are coming out. We'll have a pre-release set, and we'll come in, and you'll be like, oh, sweet. We're going to sell before the release date. A lot of people come out, they get their cards, they buy them, and they'll sell before the release date. So for example, Miraidon EX, the alternate version of it. Actually, let me go get my phone real quick.
By the way, don't mind me, y'all. I'm really just out here sleeving cards right now. Sleeving cards. Actually, you know what? For all the TCG fans out there, what sleeves do y'all like? What are your go-to sleeves? No, I'm asking them because I was trying to. Well, you were gone. I'm trying to figure out. So what kind of sleeves do you use? Because I'm very particular about sleeves. I don't know if you are or if you remember, but I'm very I won't use anything that doesn't say Dragon Shield on it.
Oh. So Dragon Shield was my favorite until Katana came out.
Okay, so everyone's been talking about katanas, and I have one deck sleeved in katanas.
Katana sleeves were fucking amazing.
Are they?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try them. So I just bought a fresh thing of black matte Dragon Shields. I put them on one of my deck. It looks so clean in black Dragon Shields. I don't care what anyone says. They have the best look of all cards, period. Or of all sleeves, period.
Oh, it's in my somewhere. I know I have it. It's somewhere in my thing. Anyway, so we have Miraidon EX, and for those of you who know Pokemon, you know Miraidon. There are 4 versions of this card.
Yep.
4 versions. You have the regular art, alternate art. You have the secret which is your gold, and then you have your alternate secret rare. I have that one too. It's in there, and I didn't want to be gone too long. Right. When it first dropped, this card, when people first got it in pre-release, this card was going for like $120. They were selling it for $120 pre-release. Release hits, this card dropped to like $40. Oh. So just imagine if you just wait like a week, the card drops drastically in price. And then depending on usage, hype, and then win rate, it will resettle itself back, either up or down into the market. And then for those who don't know, you can just go to TCG player and it'll do it. It'll let you know. Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
TCG player, this card is $18. This card was selling for $200. This is the other one that I was talking about. This one up here. Was selling for $200. It's $51. Scarlet and Violet officially released like a week ago. So if you just waited 2 weeks, you could have saved $150. This happens every pre-release. I don't understand why Pokemon players haven't figured this shit out by now.
So here's the thing: and that happens with Magic too. Is I think what it is players are scared of scarcity. You know what I mean? So like they're not sure how many of them are gonna get opened. So with so many different versions, and you can get these all in just base packs, right?
Right.
Like you don't have to buy like collector's packs or like any special packs. You just go up, you buy whatever the Scarlet and Violet set is, and you can crack any one of those 4 versions, right? Yeah. So you can do that with some of the versions in Magic, but then there are other like collectors packs now that are out, and those you have to spend considerably more money on, get considerably fewer cards, and hope you hit some of the special alt arts that you're looking for. So in that way, I think that's why your cards have a tendency to drop so much
drastically.
Yeah, because I think that people don't realize that with so many different versions, scarcity becomes less of an issue because you have to print like 4 or 5 different versions of that card.
Right.
And then your other issue then becomes, well, if you don't print a lot of those cards, then they all take up that same slot. You now print considerably fewer versions of each of those cards, and the price goes way up because there's so many fewer of them.
So that's the issue that One Piece players are having. And the reason why that's a big issue right now is because there's only 2 sets in One Piece. Only 2 sets ever released. And Bandai doesn't print very much of its cards in general. Even though a card might have 2 versions to it, it might be one Luffy and then like a secret rare version of Luffy, and then that's it. Well, because the regular Luffy is already rare, the fucking secret one, it's even rarer because there's such limited print on it, which is why the price of One Piece is through the fucking roof, super high. Digimon had that issue until more sets released, and now that they're on their 12th set, more decks have come out. You can do more things, and so now the market for cards have dropped drastically because I can just play a different deck because I have access to these cards, and their fan base isn't that big. But where One Piece, everyone is fucking playing One Piece. Everyone is trying to get into it, and then you have your scalpers. I've never seen a starter deck. I mentioned starter deck for any fucking game. I don't give a fuck what game it is. How much comes to your mind when you say starter deck?
Like $20
max.
Yeah.
Fucking max. Nope, not One Piece. Red One Piece decks were going for $85. Starter decks. You need 2 goddamn starter decks to create an actual deck. Like a competitive deck. You need 2. Because you might need 4 of one card. Most starter decks only come with 2 of one copy.
See, now that's insane. And you know what's crazy is like I just recently went through this like today, so looping it back around to the Warhammer that I was talking about. Yo, I'm looking at some of these starter kits and holy shit. $150 for a starter kit.
Fucking expensive, bro.
Are you shitting me? And now mind you, I've done some research. Like I understand that Warhammer is a very expensive hobby, like more expensive than Magic. Holy shit.
I don't and
I thought I was gonna be able to buy like a starter kit. It was gonna be like $85-$90. And I'm like, all right, that's expensive as fuck. 150. There are certain armies have what they call Primarchs, and these are like the best character for your army. Like this is just your be all end all. Like this dude is just here to fuck shit and take names. The Primarch for my army, this one model costs $20 more than the starter kit.
Right.
That's $150. Holy, what is the price of games nowadays? Have you ever stopped to think about that? Like, we spend so much money. This is how extra we are as a society.
As nerds.
As nerds, we spend so much money on cardboard, plastic, and resin. How many dice have you bought over the last 10 years in your card games?
Like I said, if I had to put a number on how much I've spent TCG wise total throughout the time frame that I've been actively playing, we can look at a number that's upwards of like $20,000.
I hate thinking about that because the number of times I have bought cards and then found like alternate versions of those cards. So my running joke for the longest time in one of my decks was I never have enough Pyromancer. I was running one of my modern decks. I was running 4 copies of Young Pyromancer. Each one of them was a different art.
Yeah. And I try my best to be like, I can just get the basic art of each.
And you're like, nah, man, it doesn't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I have to have nice things. I'm gonna show you something, right? This lightning bolt, when I bought it, was $2. It was like $2 or $3, right? This is, I think, an unlimited, I think it's like an unlimited lightning bolt. This lightning bolt came out fairly recently, and I'm pretty sure I traded it for $8.
Yeah.
Why? These are cheaper and work fine. Small brain like the pretty.
Yep. Look, this is just the difference. Yep. You look up Gabe Jogbog for Pokemon, it's like fucking 25 cents. This one, the pretty version of it, like $9. And you'd be like, why would you spend $9 when you can spend $0.25? They do the same thing, and it's like, nope, they don't do the same thing.
They do not do the same thing.
They
I'm
do
sorry,
different
you're
things.
wrong.
And then you buy cards that are drastically more expensive. Choice Belt by itself, like legit, like 42 cents. This version, like $42. Like you
Jesus.
And when you're playing, and that's good when you're only playing, like, say, a one of in a deck, you might, okay, I can do that. This nest ball is $40. I play 4 of them.
Ew. Ew. Just once again, just going through my deck, right? So Thoughtseize, at certain points in its history has been like a $40 or $50 card. I think right now it's like sitting at 30. Here, I'm just gonna pull it up. Like, this is the base version Thoughtseize. I'm gonna pull up here. So the base version right now sits at $22.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't. We can't see that. It looks
Can't
very
see that.
beautiful.
It's focusing.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. It just needed a minute. It's $22, right? That is this version, right? Why do I have two additional versions that are both more expensive than the first one?
Is this unnecessary? I don't know.
What
We have an addiction.
We do. It's so wild that, and you know what's crazy is we feed into it and we go to people that feed into it because what do we do with our Tuesdays? I'm sitting down at a card table with the boys. I'm actually going to be doing that Monday because I won't be able to do it Tuesday. I got softball with the girls. But you see what I'm saying? Like we
much other shit to do,
right?
Or rather, and I know people are like, "What? You guys are crazy. You spend X amount of dollars on cards." Like, yeah, man, the shit's one. It's fun. It's a good relaxer, but it's one of those things where like, yeah, I could make the $30 version of this deck, but why?
Why?
But I can make the $300 version of this deck and make it pretty.
That used to be like one of my flexes when I was coming up and I didn't have any money. When you're getting into the game, what's your best flex? Oh, I have a good deck. Oh, now I can play. Well, now I'm sitting down against people that have not only good decks but nice cards.
Yeah,
and now I feel bad. Well, now I got to get up with that guy.
Yeah, I could wear Skechers on my feet, but why?
Why?
Why would I do that? I can go to Payless and spend $10 on shoes. Right. Why the fuck would I do that when I can go get Jordans for like $400? I don't know. It's a stupid argument. You'd be like, that was really stupid, but that's how it works. Okay. Correct. Whenever you like something, if you're a hobby of something, that's what you do. You can get cheap anything. You can buy a cheap car. You can buy a cheap computer. You can buy a cheap purse, ladies. You don't have to go buy fucking Balenciaga. You don't have to go get a fucking Chanel bag. You can go to Walmart and get you, and they all do the same thing. All your purses hold nothing because you don't put shit in it anyway. So you can go get one that's cheap, but you're not going to because that's not your hobby and that's not the way that you think. When it comes to your hobby is expensive, no matter what it is. You want the best version of that. Mm-hmm. That it's just us. It's just cards. And when we sit and we talk about that the shit is expensive, we know the shit's expensive. Mm-hmm. Pokemon publicly came out and said, "Hey, guess what? Prices are going to go up, guys, just so you know, so you're not fucking baffled and confused when pre-releases have typically been $20 to enter a pre-release. Now they're $35, damn near double. Yep. Because of the cost and inflation of getting cards and making sure that people can play them. So
not only that, but you know what else I think it is? I think the other big thing that helps drive up the prices of cards is the fact that all of the people that play it have gotten older. You know what I mean? Like you go back like 15 years, right? People are still getting their footholds in Pokemon, right? People are still getting their footholds in Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic has found it is still going through a lot of growing pains, but it's really kind of come together. But now they know, hey, those people we had playing 15 years ago, they make adult money now. They don't have to ask mom and dad for shit. And we've had them by the fucking short hairs for the last 15 years.
Yeah. It's different because not all TCGs appeal to all age levels, right? Pokemon is specifically tailored towards children. Mm-hmm. Like they specifically tailor their product towards children, and just us as grown as adults, we just fucking buy the shit anyway. Pokemon as a company is children tailored, and then us as adults who grew up with that shit just kept doing it. But like, I think Pokemon will forever stay young because that's their target audience, and so like we just had, 2 children win international events, just this past weekend, where you got 9-year-olds, 12-year-olds playing against each other and winning international events. These kids are better than grown adults.
Yo, it's kind of crazy to me seeing like the crazy like change in power level of like players from, I don't know if you notice this, but like when I sit down at a tournament, right? I had this happen a few years ago. I was sitting down, it was an open. And I sit down across the table from a kid no older than like 9 the kid's hands aren't even big enough to shuffle his own deck.
Mm-hmm.
And he's sitting down competently playing. And I'm like, what 9-year-old was able to do this? And I started looking around the tournament hall. And I'm like, why are there more like younger? It's more like older people, like our age. And then like these like young kids, 8, 9, 10. I'm like, what is going on? Have you noticed that? Like too much with Pokemon, like where you see like a lot of younger kids just come in and they start crushing.
Yeah.
It's wild. It is. That's wild as hell.
And the number of kids that choose to stay in these TCGs is just crazy. And a lot of them, their parents play. So imagine being the adult where you play, your spouse plays, and your kids play. So you have to get 3 times the amount, and it depends on whatever deck you're playing, right? So if I'm playing Lugia, right, I need to have 4 Lugia in the deck. Well, Lugia is already like an $8 card. I got to spend 4 on just me. But now my wife is also playing Lugia. My son is also playing Lugia. I got to buy 12 goddamn Lugia. Like, and that's just one of the cards that we have to buy over and over again.
Right.
You know.
See, and that's the thing. So like with Warhammer, I'm looking at these minis, and you can buy the same. You want to buy the same kits over and over and over again for certain armies, like the orcs, the Space Marines, certain ones you can buy over and over again. But that's still $150 every time you do. Never mind just single units for armies. It's just crazy the price of the things that we do in our spare time, and we just think nothing of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think that's just something to think about. Is just like what your hobbies and what you're willing to spend your money on.
Yeah, essentially is what it boils down to.
It is, and for us, I think we've gotten into being very good at card games.
Yeah. And just asking how much the shit costs. Because if I'm just like, oh, hey. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'll take cards that like, sometimes I can offset it, right? So if like a booster box is, $135, I'll take cards that I've had for a while. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me trade them in, get store credit, 65. Okay, cool. And then it's just even swap for me losing cards. But at the end of the day, I still had to spend money on those cards to pray that whatever I'm getting out of this new box either matches the value or is higher. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been shafted, completely and utterly shafted on fucking booster boxes of like absolute garbage. And they'll be like, oh yeah, each box comes with 12 hits. Well, yeah, secret. I mean, when they say hits, they mean like there's going to come with 12 rares, 12 secret rares. But that doesn't mean that each secret rare is worth something.
Right.
Like, there are secret rares that are worth fucking pennies.
Nothing. See, that's the issue with mythics in Magic is that like it's the same thing where you're cool. I'm guaranteed 2 mythics a box. Well, if both my mythics are garbage,
and then the box is still worthless.
Exactly.
Like, hey, I've spent $98 on this box for cards that maybe total out to $30.
I will say this though, Magic has gotten a lot better about it, thank God. Because like I spent $300 on like 2 boxes, and we crack like $450 in value.
Remember when we went? It was me, you, and what's his name?
Was it Benson?
No.
Oh, fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
We're just gonna affectionately refer to him as dickhead for Wilson. We're not gonna get into it. We
all went to the Cashapp in Wilmington. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I remember. It was the one with the goblin on it.
Yeah, I remember. And we were like, all right, we're gonna each get a box. And it was Omnicat actually.
Yeah, it was Omnicat. Yep.
And we were gonna each get a box. And so we sat down, we got the box, opened it up. I pulled out a Moxie, or like the opal like type of
Oh, the masterpiece.
Masterpiece artwork.
Yeah, the masterpiece. Or not the masterpiece. You pulled the the Amonkhet special ones that were really gross. They look really awful.
Oh no, they were fucking expensive.
Those ancient Egyptian ones, the writing on that is unintelligible.
But like look up. I pulled. I think it was either a Mox Amber or a Soul Ring. But those cards are like.
Well, then that would have been no, because we opened the boxes for Amonkhet, and the cards you just named were Kaladesh and Aether.
Oh, maybe it was Kaladesh then that we opened up. Oh,
no, because I played that stupid Glory Bringer deck, wasn't it? Was that the dumb Glory Bringer deck?
No, this was
that was always watching Glory Bringer and Champion of Rome.
No, this was the Sahili Cat combo. So this was Aether
Revolt. Yeah, because I was playing a really stupid. Oh no, I was playing a really stupid green-white deck because I cracked like 4 Always Watching, which gave my creature vigilance. And I was like, oh, Champion of Uranus will never exert. I'm just gonna fart Ulamog onto the board every turn.
Yeah. I was able to pull the card and was like, oh shit, go trade it in and get an entire new booster box.
I remember that shit. That was so funny.
Brought it back for that second booster box to be absolute garbage. Straight garbage. I could have kept this shit, man.
That was so funny. But that's why I hate gambling on boxes, man.
Oh, that's all.
But I'm gonna keep doing it.
But y'all let us know how y'all feel about TCGs, man. We're gonna wrap it up here for today. If you're a TCG fan, holla out, hit us up with your favorite card game. Let us know what your favorite card is and stuff like that. If you got a fucking awesome collection, mine is not really all that awesome. It's just my binder full of that's fucking One Piece, but just full of Pokemon. That's all I fucking collect. You know, if you got one, just hit us up. Send us some pictures, man. You know, we're not.
Yeah, I'd love to see that shit.
But until then, man, y'all be safe, man, and y'all make sure y'all come back to the Traphouse and meet us again. We out.
Later.